My name is Mazyar Shadman. I'm a professor at Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center and University of Washington in Seattle. So the primary endpoint of the study is progression-free survival. However, we are looking at undetectable MRD achievement rate as an intermediate endpoint, which is going to be measured by next-generation sequencing clonoSEQ. So in CLL, there is a lot of interest and rationale to combine the two major classes that we have for CLL, covalent BTK inhibitors and BCL2 inhibitors. Currently, the only FDA-approved combination in US is combination of acalabrutinib and venetoclax. So in this study, we're using two other drugs, zanubrutinib as a covalent BTK inhibitor and sonrotoclax as a novel BCL2 inhibitor to compare the two regimens. And the basis for this comparison comes from the data from the phase 1 trial of looking at zanubrutinib plus sonrotoclax. And this combination has resulted in a very high rate of undetectable MRD in the range of 98%, which is higher in a cross-trial comparison compared to other combinations of BTK inhibitor and BCL2 inhibitor, including acalabrutinib and venetoclax. So what the study is trying to show is in a prospective trial to compare these two all-oral and fixed duration combinations. So and that's the basis for the Celestial TN2 study of basically looking at zanubrutinib for 3 months followed by sonrotoclax addition, and the combination goes for a year, versus acalabrutinib for 2 months, then addition of venetoclax, and that combination will also go for a year, and then we will compare the outcomes, as I mentioned, the primary endpoint of PFS and also intermediate endpoint of undetectable MRD from the bone marrow and the blood. Yeah, one of the important, or some of the important features in CLL are molecular characteristics, including p53 aberrations and IGHV status. And this study does stratify for those factors because we know it's important to look at those factors when we look at the primary and intermediate endpoints of PFS and UMRD rate. So this randomization accounts for those factors for a stratification. Well, obviously, on the study, all drugs are provided by the study, so there won't be an access issue for patients who participate in the trial. And this is a global study in different parts of the world, so regardless of the treatment arm, all drugs are provided. Which may actually help with access, because outside of the clinical trial, some of these drugs are not approved. Sonrotoclax is only approved for mantle cell lymphoma in US, so that drug won't be available in other settings. Zanubrutinib obviously is approved, and acalabrutinib is approved as monotherapy for CLL. And acalabrutinib and venetoclax combination is approved in US and I believe in Europe as a standard of care. But as I said, the key message is that on the study, all the drugs are provided by the study. We always advocate for referring for clinical trials. I think we are at a time in CLL treatment that you're looking at fixed duration, all oral, and very effective combinations. So the hope is that by achieving a very high rate of undetectable MRD, we can help patients achieve deep remissions, long remissions, and we are certainly, and I'm certainly hopeful that we will be curing some patients. So if a patient achieves a long enough remission that in their lifetime they don't need another line of therapy, we can call that a functional cure or cure. So that's the goal. So we highly encourage our colleagues to participate in the trial and refer patients for it. We anticipate a very fast enrollment because this is a very clinically relevant design trial. So it makes a lot of sense for patients to receive either the control or a standard of care arm or the investigational arm. So yeah, the participating sites are very happy to help with the referring physicians to help with the enrollment.